Arsenal avenged their opening day defeat, and Vivianne Miedema scored her first WSL goal since returning from her ACL injury in a 2-0 win over Liverpool. And like you said, I mean, what a goal it was. Viv said afterwards that she may be even better than the old me. I mean, is that even possible? I mean, she was elite before, but now I feel like Vivianne 2.0 is something that no defence wants to see. No opposition wants to hear those kind of words. Do you think there's glimmers there that she could be sort of reinvigorated back to a better version of what she already was?
I mean, it's hard to imagine a better version, but I think, especially given she's playing that deeper role, which she enjoys more, that probably plays a part in her, I guess, enjoyment back on the pitch. And we've seen that over the last few games that she's made appearances in is that link-up play and those passes, those trademark passes that she's known for, and that vision that she's known for. That has certainly come back from the get-go. I mean, one of her first touches back, I think it was against Bristol, she almost set up Beth Mead for a goal with an absolute pinpoint pass. So that never went away. So if she, I think, yeah, she's looking at coming back to being her old self, and if she can be better, well, that's a pretty frightening prospect, because she definitely set the bar high back when she was playing. But yeah, I think the fact she's playing in a preferred role might also have an impact on how much she's enjoying her football.
Well, we've kind of talked quite a bit about the kind of dynamics between the sort of strikers, the forwards at Arsenal, given there are so bloody many of them. I mean, we've got a question in from Florence on Instagram. What was your opinion on Russo dropping so deep yesterday as a striker? I mean, how did you feel about that?
I felt, particularly in the first half, it felt quite congested, and I think that was also down to Liverpool's defence. They were trying to force Arsenal out wide again. It worked so well for them in the first game, and it was something that we kind of bemoaned in that game, where Arsenal just kept going wide and sending in crosses, and it just wasn't working. And at times it was like they were trying to go centrally, but it was just too congested and kind of slow in the middle. So it was probably that Russo maybe wasn't getting the service that she wanted, which kind of forced her to drop a little bit deeper to try and get the ball. But then perhaps that could have, I guess, added to the congestion when you think about all the other players that are in and amongst that area. So a part of it, I think, was Arsenal struggling to be creative enough. The other part of it, I think, is down to Liverpool's defence. I think Liverpool, I felt, for me in the first half especially, it felt like they kind of went out there to not concede rather than to try and get a goal. I think they had one shot on target in the game. So going out there to frustrate Arsenal, I think they did that in the first half. But then when Miedema gets in that kind of fine, I'll do it myself kind of frame of mind, she's dangerous, and it's generally when she unleashes a long range shot, because we're so used to seeing her score from closer range. And I think Arsenal have been trying to do that this season, is sometimes just be a bit too pretty with their football. And actually that goal from Beth Mead against Reading, that ball over the top from Leah Williamson, sometimes that's all you need to break open defences. And I think with a team like Arsenal, who have so many goals in them but often struggle creatively, getting that first goal can be so key. And I think, it definitely opened them up a bit more in the second half.
I've got to agree with that. I do sometimes think Arsenal are sort of masters of their own downfall. They're almost too clever for the pitch. If that, it kind of feels like, because there are so many people who are capable of scoring from the back to the mid to the front, it feels like like we used to go to kids shopping or shoe things in like Clark's or whatever it was. You take a ticket and it was your turn next to score. It feels like that. It feels like they just sort of like, it's my turn now, I'm going to give it a go. Okay, well, it's my turn now, I'm the next in line. It does feel a little bit.
Not where that was going.
Another weird analogy from me. Yeah. One of the kind of more not confusing I suppose, but what I expected to see this weekend was more of Leah Williamson. Obviously she had the minutes in the Conti Cup game, and I thought this is another opportunity for her. Arsenal are dominating the game. I felt it would have been a safe bet for Jonas to bring her on to sort of give her 10 or 15 minutes towards the end. 1 second, sorry, my computer's trying to crash itself. 1 second. Sorry about that. That was one of the things that I was seriously sort of confused about, because I was expecting to sort of see those 10-15 minutes towards the end. It felt like a safe bet for her to do that. But I know sort of in the post-match, Jonas was saying, you always have a plan for returning players. Leah was available to play, but not for many minutes. He said sometimes that opportunity comes and we can use that plan, and sometimes, like today, I felt we needed other things to manage the game.
Yeah, I think there's always, especially with returning players, there's always a risk at how quickly you bring them back. And the Reading game was a good game to do that in. But there's always going to be tactical elements to it too, right? So say Arsenal were still 0-0 at 70, 75 minutes, he might say, okay, it's worth bringing Leah on because we need someone to be able to open up the play and and send in balls over the top and find those pinpoint crosses and maybe stop trying to be so direct or in this kind of congested area. So perhaps had the game gone a different way, she would have tactically made sense, because if it doesn't tactically make sense, I guess it's not worth the risk. There's plenty more games coming up where she's going to be absolutely crucial. So there could have been an element of that as well.
Absolutely, and I think one of the nice things, I suppose, is when she sort of came. I mean, she was one of the first people to actually get out onto the pitch. Go out and train. I think she got one of the biggest cheers for the crowd, like when the announcement came up about the team list. And I think even after the game, she was sort of seen, signing autographs and doing her classic, Leah Williamson awesomeness stuff. And even Viv Miedema was sort of saying after the game, we all know what she can bring to the team. We know that she's one of the best centre backs in the world. But yeah, we're just gonna have to give her time and not push her and give her the right time to come back in her own space. So yeah, I really appreciate that kind of, the fans are wanting it, everyone's demanding it, the media want it, we all want to see her back on the pitch, but actually give her that space. I mean, she's only just come off the back of learning concert piano with the BBC Royal Orchestra. So
as you do,
it's you've got to give her space and time, haven't you, really?